I got something I want to throw your way, Bob.
All right.
All right, this is our very own Chuck Fletcher.
Oh.
There's two things that happened today that he said.
What'd he say?
I just want to get your thoughts on it. All right, this is one of them. I expect to be more competitive the rest of the way. We're only 5 points out of a wild card spot, so we'll see.
It's December. It's December 1st for crying out loud. Fletcher, bye-bye.
So you've lost at this point 10 of 11 when he makes that statement.
Yes.
They've lost 10 of 11.
He expects to be
they can't be less competitive the rest of the way. Like
they could.
You can't be less competitive than losing 10 out of every 11 games.
Maybe I guess losing 11 out of 11.
Because they had that little win streak at the beginning. Yes, they could be worse.
I'm talking about he says that after they've lost 10 of 11. They can't be any less. So even if they start winning 2 out of every 10, like winning 2 out of 10, they'd be more competitive than they are right now.
Well, I guess it depends on what picture you're looking at. Are you looking at the whole picture of the beginning of the season or just the last 11 games?
Well, you got to look at the last 11 because it's abysmal. Now, here's the other thing. Now, this is courtesy of Sam Carchidi. He said, Atkinson said his injury is not something that he has had in the past. Then Chuck Fletcher spoke today and said it's something Cam Atkinson has never dealt with in the past. That's where we're at right now. You got your GMs.
Oh, wait, you just said 2 of the same thing. I think you messed that up.
Okay, I'll repeat it. Atkinson said his injury is not something he's had in the past.
Correct.
Chuck Fletcher said it's something he has dealt with
there
in
you go.
the past.
Yeah. You said it
So there you go.
time, but I saw that earlier today. Who are they trying to kid? Why? Why are they trying to kid anybody? If it was an injury you didn't have, who cares?
I've never seen anything like this. We've seen the Phillies go through a span after we had the nice runs and all that, and it collapsed for a little bit of time, 2013 through when they got Bryce Harper. It was ugly, and at one point we kind of hit a wall and was like, okay, we demand change. But, like, this Flyers thing is a mess. It's a joke. It really is. I mean, it pisses me off that we have to sit here and watch this trash every day.
It's a joke, number one. The injuries made it even a bigger joke is what really happened here. When, Lawton went down, you had Konechny go down, everybody, Van Riemsdyk, whole team pretty much went down. Not that team was going to do any damage in the first place, but at least it would have been a lot more fun than watching this garbage mess they have out there right now. And I was the last one to jump off of this thing. But I'll tell you right now, it's a tough watch.
Well, there's no plan, right? Like, everyone's like, oh, well, they're going to get the best pick and this and that, and they very well may by the end of it. But there's no actual structure on how they're going to turn this around. They may luck into a bad pick, and they're not built well enough up top to make that actually worthy.
How and why is Fletcher still here is beyond me.
Well,
he can't be.
Comcast is making decisions.
That was my beef with, and I know that Comcast owns NBC Sports Philadelphia, the station that we're currently simulcasted on. So, but at the same time, I think that they're a great business entity. Since they've owned the team, there has not been hardly any on-ice success. Perhaps it would be best at this point to have an actual hockey individual actually in charge. Obviously, as a corporate entity, they have a corporate person who then hires a hockey person, et cetera, et cetera. But the person at the tippy top is a corporate Comcast person. That has not worked. It's probably time, in addition to the Fletcher thing, which we've all, if we did a poll about should Chuck Fletcher stay, it would be 100-0. Like, no one would say, that'd be the first 100% poll.
That may be the one we want to try.
That would be the first one. But maybe above him, you need someone with some hockey acumen who maybe knows how to hire a person, because clearly their leadership has not worked.
Well, they did that with Tortorella. They brought in an outside source that around the league and around sports, they look at the city, they look at the franchise, and it's sort of like you bring in this own core that look at it, dissect it, and then help you pick what coach they feel is best.
That's pretty sad.
Well,
that
but
they
that's
have
the
to
thing
go outside their own area to do it. Put
Apparently
somebody
that's
in
a
there that
thing.
knows what the hell they're doing.
Well,
No, in general. Just have somebody in there that has some hockey knowledge and business knowledge. How hard could that be?
other teams seem to figure it out.
I'm not talking about Fletcher. I'm talking about the powers to be.
Well, you're stuck with the Clarks and the Paul Holmgrens of the world. And that's why we're where we're at today.
Yeah, it's just.
I'm sorry.
No. What I mean is that this is my issue with Flyers fans in a way, and it's not their fault, but it is their fault at the very same time. And let me explain since you brought it up. How do fans? So we all agree. Let's right at the top that Flyers fans are infinitely loyal. Do we all agree with that? That they're
Absolutely.
extremely loyal. Okay.
100%.
So let's put that right at the top, and that is to be applauded almost all the time. But imagine the Flyers, like the Eagles fans also, it's not just that they're loyal, it's Eagles fan going to Eagles games. Everything Eagles related is a religion at this point. On Sundays, more people do Eagles than church. Like, that's just what it is. So even if the team's terrible, people want to do their Sunday routine. But if you take the Phillies and the Sixers, when they're as poor, and they have been as poor as the Flyers currently are, what do Phillies fans, look at this year, September. We were talking about how the Phillies couldn't draw fans because those fans were saying, we've seen you get to September a bunch of times and let us down. And then when they lost 10 or 13 games, they couldn't get a crowd down there. Once they broke through and made the postseason, here comes the fans back. And I would imagine next year, those fans will be in that building. Mm-hmm. When the Sixers get really bad, Sixers fans stop going because they say the product that you have presented to us is not an acceptable product, so we're completely out. Is that fair to say?
Yep.
With the Flyers, they're so loyal, those fans, and that is to be respected. But being honest, how many human beings based on the merit of what they're bringing to you, how many fans should be in that building every night?
0.
You understand what I'm saying? Like,
I maybe 10,000.
Yeah, they had a packed barn on Black Friday. I get it. It's Black Friday afternoon game, 5 o'clock game, whatever it was against the Penguins.
And that's like a ritual.
It is. But if we wanted to make a damn statement, then you got to somehow break that ritual so then the noise is heard. I mean, I know that they're aware of the noise. Trust me. There's no way the Flyers are sitting up top thinking we're right where we want to be. So they definitely know, but we need to continue.
They haven't been there in 10 years.
Well, they'll look at the bubble season as not
screw
too far
the bubble
away.
Season. Seriously.
Right. And what I mean about that is, and this isn't a criticism of the Flyers fan, because I respect their loyalty. I truly, truly do. But at some point, they're going to have to put their foot down in such a way that it says, if this product does not get better, we're not. And the other part is, I'm very uncomfortable telling you, or anybody out there how to spend their money. You do with your money what you want to do with your money. But it's very difficult for me to understand another recourse that Flyers fans have to make things get better, to make them present a plan. Like, because they're not going to be good overnight. But fans are smart enough to recognize that, like, okay, they don't expect them to go from terrible to winning the cup in 1 year. But there's no plan, and there seems to be nothing, like the process had flaws. But they told Sixers fans that, yes, maybe you're not going to go right now, but it was saying out loud, we have a plan to turn our franchise around. That was what it was. And it was a clear plan, and a lot of people did buy into the plan because it was a plan. What is the plan for the Flyers to get from where they are right now to where Colorado was at the end in June?
You got to sell some pieces. Kevin Hayes is having a good season. I know the contract stinks, but you got to find a way to get creative. That's the problem, is there's no creativity. Last year, we asked them to put some first-round picks with JVR to get rid of that money so you can move on from that, to go sign a Gaudreau. There's no savviness involved here. They're just guys that are just staring at this going, I don't know what to do. I don't know. What do you know what to do? I don't know what to do. You got to be savvy to get there, and they don't have that right now.
And that's where I think at the very top, above Chuck Fletcher, because it must be an edict to that new. If you get a savvy GM and the GMs, and you tell that GM, use some masking tape to put this together to get the 8th seed, then that's what that GM would do. It takes a person with the hammer, because any GM that comes is going to be hardwired into thinking, I have to win to keep my job. That's why I say it must go above that GM, because it needs to be a savvy person at the ownership type level, like it was with the Sixers, where Josh Harris said, we're going to do this to ultimately try to win a championship. Now, whether it does or not, that was the plan. It needs someone above Chuck Fletcher or who should be in Chuck
You
Fletcher's
have to clean everything out first.
Well, you just
I
hired
think
Tortorella.
Hunter's-
Tortorella is the anti what you just mentioned, and you just hired him.
And unfortunately, we talked to him yesterday. I'm not saying fire Tortorella. What I'm saying is that if we're being realistic about where the Flyers are, we'll take these calls in just a moment. We need to tear it down in a different type of way, and we probably need a different type of coach to do what we need to do. Like we need our Brett Brown. Tortorella is not the Brett Brown.
No.
And that's where it's hard for me, because what can the Flyers do to force that other than not buying the jerseys, not spending the money on the tickets, not watching the games, etc. But I don't want to take away from fans something that they really, really love.
But here's my bigger problem with this. We are how many years into this, really?
It's been a long time.
We'll say you want to play the bubble
three, though.
thing.
If you want to use the bubble, it's 3 years.
All right, 3 years, and it's been pretty bad for 3 years.
Yeah.
And now, even if you get a number one pick, you're still talking 3-4 years. Right?
Yeah.
The number one picks are usually young kids
Well,
now.
this year's guy would be a real deal dude.
I'm just saying, Gauthier.
He's actually doing really well.
He's doing really well, but he's in college.
Right.
I mean, this is the point I'm trying to make, is that that's not the easy fix.
There's no easy
There
fix.
is no easy fix, but the only way to
but you
do
do
this
got-
is to cut it down now, or else we're going to still be sitting here at the same time next year saying they got to cut it down now. They got to cut it down now. Now is the time, is the place. Do what you have to do. Release guys. I don't care if you go with the youngest team you've ever seen here right now. I'd rather watch that than what we're watching right now.
And then maybe Tortorella is the right coach if you tear it all the way down. If you give him nothing, he'll get the most out of nothing.
But do you want him to get the most out of nothing, or do you want to stink so you can get some better picks?
If it's nothing, I
if
feel
you
like
want
you
to stink
you
that
can.
bad, you trade Carter Hart then.
I'm not against anything.
Unfortunately, you
I'll
can't
tell
be
you what.
against that. But there's no way, because I think they're still thinking about filling that building.
Yeah, they are.
And you have to realize that if you empty the roster, you'll eventually empty the building.
Well, who the hell is drawing them in right now?
The orange and the black.
But
This
name
is what we do.
one guy who's a draw.
Right. It's not about that. It's about the brand, and people love that brand.
Go watch Pro V skate.